Instead of drawing pictures, we're going to basically look at characteristics of a population numerically. So we're going to analyze the numbers that we get out. And the numbers that we're going to be looking at are numbers that measure the center of the data. We're going to look at how spread out the data is, otherwise known as variation. And lastly, we're going to look at the distribution. In other words, from a picture, what's the shape of the data? Are they all the same or uniform? Some smaller, some larger. So let's first focus on measures of center. We have 3 measures of center in statistics that we find. The first is called the mean. Might be what you're used to finding. It's also known as the arithmetic average. So we have to be careful when we say average. There are 3 values that may or may not be the same that would be constituted as an average. But when we look at the mean and look at its average, we know that it is a balance point. We'll be doing an activity in class that will show you how this is a balance point. One thing we have to note about a mean is that it is affected by outliers. Now, what the heck is an outlier? An outlier is a very small or large number. For example, if we looked at our class makeup, and I had a student one year that was 89 years old, his name was Hap, and he happens to walk into our room, and now we take our average of our ages. All of a sudden, he's made us all look a little bit older on average. So we'll be talking about that as well in class. Median is just that, the median of the highway. It is the middle number of a data set. Now, we have to be careful when we take this middle number. We can't just write down the values and then pick the middle number, because we could all end up with a different middle. So what we must do first of all is sort from least to greatest. And once we sort from least to greatest, we can take the middle number. Now, what happens if there's an even number of data values? So what happens if there's an even number, such as 1, 2, 3, 4? There are 4 data values. The middle, notice it's already sorted, would be right here. And so what is the median, the 2 or the 3? Well, it's actually 2.5. So we take the arithmetic average of these 2 to find the middle. So notice the median actually does not need to be the data value. The median is not affected by outliers. Outliers do not affect the median, because essentially I just throw it out of the way and I sort myself to the middle. The last measure of center, also known as an average, but we're going to be specific in which we use here. This is the one that occurs the most often. It's the data value that occurs the most often. It's best used in qualitative data. Most students at SKC are female. If I say most students are female, I'm looking at the mode. I can't add up males and females. And remember, female is a category, so it is a qualitative piece of data. And what we must also realize is in the mode, you may not have or may have more than one. So if I looked at my data set 1, 2, 3, 4, there is no mode. There's not a value that occurs more than once. But if I repeated the 2 twice and the 3 twice, then both 2 and 3 would be my mode. So we'll be practicing these types of measures of center in class through our explorations.